To understand Galilee 33, we have to begin with my childhood and the way I was brought up. Shalom, my name is Mlul. I'm married with 4 kids and 2 grandchildren. I was born into an ultra-Orthodox Hasidic family in a neighborhood called Mea Shearim in Jerusalem. When I was a very, very young kid, my father used to take me every morning at about 3 o'clock in the morning for his morning prayers at the West Wall. On the way from home to the West Wall, we used to pass churches, ancient ones, and monasteries. And he taught me that when we pass those places, we have to run. And the reason is that the Christian people wants to steal us, wants to convert us to be Christian. And one way is that when sometimes they used to kidnap people to do that. So growing up with that thing in my mind, that one of the most fear things that I had in my life is to get close to Christian people, talk to them, or even come close to churches. That was my upbringing concerning religion and understanding the difference between Islam and Christianity and Judaism. In the last 10 or 12 years in my life, I was actually exposed to evangelical Christians from all over the world while I served as the public affairs director of a hospital on the border in Israel with Gaza. And it brought me into thinking, a lot of thinking, actually on the philosophy side more. Are these the people that I was brought up being afraid of? Are these the people I cannot even pass walking their prayer homes? And slowly I started to get closer and closer and understand, until when I got to the point where I said, okay, if millions of people believe in Jesus, Yeshua, actually who was the guy? What's the roots of Christianity? Now I have to shift a little bit into Judaism in order to understand what I taught myself in the last few years. In Judaism, the Bible is divided into 2. One part is all the rituals that we do between us and God. And one part is all the rituals that we do between us, ourselves, and the society we live in. Now, according to the Jewish tradition, we have one day in the year, Day of Atonement, that we have to fast for 25 hours. And on that day, we ask forgiveness from God on all the sins we have done during the year. And God will forgive us. The part of the sins that we have done during the year between us and the society that we live in is not forgiven during those 25 hours of fast and prayers. It will be forgiven only if I'll go to the person that I hurt and ask him for his forgiveness. It's very difficult to explain the process that I went through from a very young age, where my father and my family educated me to be scared of Christian people, not to come close to them, not to talk to them, and understand also the shift that I did from being in an ultra-Orthodox family neighborhood life, and by the age of 20 coming out and say, okay, I understand that Judaism is built from these 2 parts. I cannot be perfect in being and taking upon myself all the rituals between me and God, and also all the rituals between me and my society. Since I grew up in a home where the devotion to the society was very high, I said to myself, okay, so I'm going now to devote my life being a good part of the society I live in. And for the last 30 years, that's what I did. I'm not very good in keeping all the rituals between me and God, but I think that I'm trying to do my best to help the society I live in many ways. Taking that into consideration and taking the matter that I went to study who was Jesus, who was Yeshua, and I understood, leaving apart the belief who is the Messiah and who is God, but getting down to the roots of a human being, I understood that he was actually a person, that what he did in his life, he cared about the society he lived in, among. And I really got connected in my mind, in my soul, to that part. That he was, and by the way, I studied about Jesus, Yeshua, from Jewish scriptures, not from Christian scriptures. So taking everything into consideration, I said, okay, how do I bring that feeling of being part of the society, of understanding who was Jesus, who was Yeshua? And I thought to myself, I have to combine it also with helping the society I live in. And it came up to my mind that food is something that brings people together. And I thought to myself, how can I combine all these things together? And something came up to me and said, food is a very good source to bring people close. Jesus, Yeshua, fed everyone that came to him, blessed everyone that came to him with bread and oil and wine. How about taking products that are made out of the crops that are still yielding from the time of Jesus, Yeshua, 2,000 years ago? Not modern crops that are growing in the Holy Land, but crops that have been at the time of Jesus. Bring it to a level of a very high-end product, organic, no preservation, exactly like it was at the time of Jesus 2,000 years ago. And I started to visit farms around the Holy Land, and I found very interesting farms of Christian people that has got a problem with making a living. And I said, I've got it. I'm going to help them to market their produce, and using the knowledge of the crops that was growing at the time of Jesus. And we're going to together bring out products which will be a high-end product, very organic and no preservation again, which is very important, and help those farmers, Christian farmers, and bring a timeless taste to every Christian in the world. And this, through those products that actually can reunite the mind, the soul, and the heart, and taste the time of, at the same time, the same food that Jesus and his believers had 2,000 years ago. So we came up with, by the help of a very, very dear pastor by the name of Terry Kirk from Baltimore, we came out with a very special name for the company, which is called Galilee 33. Galilee is where the place that Jesus, Yeshua, preached and taught and healed people in his community and around. And 33 is, obviously everybody knows, it's the age of Jesus. And it is really a timeless taste. It's really products that are using whatever grew at the time of Jesus. I will just give an example of one product, which is, for me, it's the most special product. This is actually the essence of a carob. Carobs, I will try to make it as short as possible. Carobs have been grown in Israel over 2,500 years. It's a very special process that the carob itself is going through. The carob has been soaked into barrels for many, many months, and it gets strained, and whatever comes out, it's actually the concentration, it's the honey of the carob. Carob has got plenty benefits. You can live actually only on carob. It has everything inside. Has no sugar added, no preservation. It can be used as instead of sugar. It can be used in cooking chicken, meat. Inside our website, you've got recipes how to use the carob honey. It's a very unique, very concentrated, very unique product. Again, organic, no preservation. The other thing I really like, I actually like all of them because I really choose each and every one of them. It's a very modern product. It's the tapenade. It's actually something that you smear on bread. It's made out of olives and a herb called hyssop of the Bible. With just now we're going to see it also in part of the product. It's a very modern, high-end product served in restaurants. I love it, especially if you put like a, baguette or dry, like a crispy bread, and you put on like butter or any kind of cheese, and you just add the tapenade on. We have got here a special herbal tea that is combined of 3 herbs that was growing at the time of Jesus and are still growing in Israel. Excellent for stomach problems. Then we come into the herb that's called hyssop of the Bible. Very ancient product. Use it many ways. Again, you have it in the website with recipes how you can use that herb. It's delicious and it's very healthy. And here we have the olive oil, very high-end oil made out of olives by a family that is actually practicing doing that oil for the last 300 years in Israel. Christian family from Kfar Kana. And for the ones that do drink wine, we have a special reserve Cabernet from 2011, also from a Christian family that has got vineyards in Israel also for over 200 years. And I think just the beginning, there are many products that we can actually produce with those Christian farmers in the Holy Land. But I think that for me, it's a big mission to help those families and to bring the taste that was 2,000 years ago at the time of Jesus Yeshua to every Christian that not only studying the scriptures and believe and practice it, but also reunite the mind, the soul, and the body, and get together people to try and do the best for our society. Thank you.